When George Lucas produced the Star Wars films, they were criticized for some of their absolutely awful writing, like this line from Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. "I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere." The line by itself is terrible, but add to the fact it's supposed to be the most romantic line in the movie, and you have some truly awful dialogue. However, contrary to Anakin Skywalker's beliefs, sand is actually pretty useful. And this is all thanks to a little something called construction sand. According to the UNEP, sand and gravel are the most extracted materials in the world, and the fact that it takes thousands of years of erosion to create them only contributes to the sand shortage crisis. That's right. We use construction sand in things like roads, parking lots, buildings, roads, anything that includes concrete really, which means that we're using it more now than ever before. And the outcomes of this are actually pretty extreme. See, while Anakin Skywalker wanted absolutely nothing to do with sand, everyone else seemingly does. Sand is defined as any material with a diameter of 0.06 millimeters to 2 millimeters, which means that most salts and sugars technically qualify as sand. That means that we use sand a lot more than we think we do. But that's not all sand can do, because sand is also a lovely, incredible ecosystem where beautiful and incredible creatures can grow. Take sand fleas, for example. These incredible little creatures can burrow under your skin, stay there for about 2 weeks, suck on your blood, and spew hundreds of eggs inside of you. Isn't that wonderful? Not only do these horrific things exist in the sand, but according to Max Planck Institute for Marine Biology, up to whole communities of assorted microbes live on the surface of a single grain of sand. That means that whenever you bury yourself in sand, you've got tons of friends cheering you on. It's like my mom always said, if you can't beat them, join them. Right now, we get most of our sand from mining into mountains. Beach sand here doesn't work that well because usually those are protected areas and extracting the sand from them would cause a lot of pollution. Desert sand here also doesn't work because it's too round and doesn't hold together well. Because of this, we're left to mining for our sand supplies. The rate that we're mining is getting higher and higher, and the outcomes of this are actually pretty extreme. It's actually a pain in the ass. Seriously though, problems getting out of sand. It's so bad, in fact, that's right, a violent black market around sand called the Sand Mafia. According to an investigation by National Public Radio, the Sand Mafia is willing to steal sand from beaches and rivers illegally and will even kill for it. Holy carp, that's a lot of violence for something as little as sand. Not only is that it, but according to a 2013 estimate, the business makes about $16 million a month. If you want to make a few sand dollars, Sand Mafia is not looking too bad right now. When we're looking at the future of sand, it doesn't look that bright. I shrimply cannot believe we'll have enough sand in the future with how much we're using. It'll take an act of COD to make sure that we have enough. Researchers in the UK are currently trying to work on a new formula for concrete. And a 2018 PRI article has Susan Bernal, a scientist, talk about the different materials that are currently in the works that can also bind sand. There's been a boom in materials that can bind sand in recent years. This includes things like fly ash, volcanic ash, fly ash again, and rice husk ashes. And also fly ash. But yeah, with these different waste materials, they could possibly make a substitute for sand in concrete formulas and be able to bind concrete the same way as sand. Unfortunately, we can't implement them quite yet, and that's because of a little something called, laws, rules, and regulations. Because of these, we can't implement the ashes and waste material quite yet. Because if we do and they're implemented or implemented wrongly, then they may lead to unsafe concrete structures like houses being built. And we don't really want unsafe houses, so we gotta make sure that they go through the rigorous processing and testing to make sure that they hold concrete well and that people that build concrete in houses will actually want to use them. Because unfortunately, they probably don't want a lawsuit on their hands if a house collapsed because they use some weird volcanic ash in their concrete instead of good old American sand. You may be wondering, what exactly do we do all about this? There's a sand mafia, sand crisis going on. We have a sand shortage because we can't get sand from beaches or deserts. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do here? We have this construction sand. We can't use this beach sand or this desert sand because they don't work. They're protected areas. We can't get them. That'll cause too much pollution. We have these waste materials, but we can't implement them because we got laws, rules, regulations stopping us, stopping the progress of putting these in our concrete, stopping us from making and protecting our sand, getting more sand and less shortage. We have the sand mafia here, killing people, stealing the sand, going ahead, going against the law, going against the government, and taking extra sand. Stockpiles in India are shortening, but sand age is growing, and the mafia is stealing sand rapidly there. We don't want unsafe houses though. We've got the sand fleas for some reason up here too, those weird animals. What do we do? Of course. The answer was here all along. All we gotta do, anarchy. It's so simple. Without any laws, rules, or regulations, we can go ahead and implement all these waste materials into concrete. The sand mafia won't be illegal anymore. We could just take as much sand as we want from beaches. We won't have to worry about the sand mafia stealing our sand dollars and putting them in their sand banks. Without rules, without government, we shall reign supreme and have as much sand as we want and deserve. Thank you for my speech about sand.